channel. I'm Rin, the Rin and Stitchy Rin. So this is Flosstube number 3, and today is January the 2nd of 2022. Woo! So that's exciting. All right. I'm excited because I got above 50 subscribers, so welcome to my new subscribers and everyone who has been here for a while as well. I am glad to see you again. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about is kind of a big announcement thing that I've been working on for several weeks now, kind of thinking about it and then planning it and designing it. So I'm doing a stitch along. Woo! Is based off of the Kingdom Hearts video game. So it's called Keyblades to the Kingdom. Sort of my little play on words. But if you don't know anything about this video game, it came out on the PlayStation 2 in 2002. That's why I'm doing it, because it's the 20th anniversary on March 28th. So that's when the stitch along will be starting. But in the game, your weapon is a keyblade. So it's like a big key that you hit people with. I don't know. The game's kind of all over. It's a weird game sometimes, but it's a lot of fun. It's kind of a mixture of Final Fantasy and with a bunch of Disney properties. So that is a free stitch along. If you're interested in that, I will put the link to the Facebook group, and you can find more information about the size, the floss list, and everything like that. I just put out a couple days ago. If you're not on Facebook, you can also find the information on my Ko-Fi page, which I always have a link down below. And I'm also putting out a bunch of other video game patterns this year. I just put out 10 Chrono Cross patterns. There's going to be a lot of those this year. I love that game. I talked about this in my last video. So I have 5 character portraits and 5 of the character menu art, and I'm going to be showing you one of the character portraits. The menu art I haven't gotten started on yet stitching, but there's 5 of them available now, and I'll put a picture up here of what that looks like, the character. So yeah, you can tell I like this game because it's going to take me years to finish this project. Just years. But you know, sometimes you just want to do stuff like that. Okay. Oh, one other note about the Keyblades to the Kingdom, because I'm probably going to put a link in the group, and I said I was going to talk a little bit more about it, and I kind of skipped ahead. But the Keyblades are pretty much going to be from the handheld games. So I'm sorry if you're really looking for a lot of the mainline ones. I have some artistic ability. I'm trying to work on that this year, but a lot of my patterns this year are based off of video game sprites, because they make really good cross-stitch patterns, obviously, because they're already little squares. But for the PlayStation games and stuff like that, it's three-dimensional, it's polygon, so you don't really have... I would have to draw them, and that would take me a lot longer, and I don't know how well it would turn out. So I just wanted to put that in there so that people kind of have an idea of what to expect. There's going to be some really small ones. I've got a test stitch of one of those, and there's going to be some much bigger, more detailed ones, so it's going to be kind of variety. Also, you could definitely stitch some of the keyblades on it individually. It's not a full coverage piece, so they're kind of all separate. So if you don't want to do the whole thing, it's big. It's big. But if you're interested in that, check in the group, and you can always comment on there, make a post if you have any more questions, and I will try to answer as best I can. So one other thing, I keep forgetting to talk about this in my past 2 floss tubes, but I'm going to do some retreats this year. I'm excited because I've never been to a stitching retreat before, so that'll be new and hopefully make some new friends. I'm going to the Steel City Stitchers retreat in February, so that's coming up really soon. And I realized I really need to talk about it because it's basically by the time I put out my next Flosstube, it'll be happening. So yes, that one is the beginning of February in Pittsburgh. So I'm excited to go to that. And then I will be going to StitchCon. Woo! I'm going to weekend B. So if you're going to either of those retreats, drop a comment down, say hi back to you, and maybe we could, you know, hang out and stitch at one of those. That'd be fun. Okay, before we get into the stitching, my pop culture highlight for the month, Steven Universe. We just finished watching the show this morning. I've watched it before, but we were rewatching it with my boyfriend, and he actually got fairly into it. It's, I would have to say, yes, it's a cartoon and it's sometimes very silly, but there's a lot of like layers and emotion and subtext that you wouldn't expect in a cartoon, honestly. So I love it, and I highly recommend it. You can watch it, I know, on HBO Max, and I've watched it on Hulu, and it might still be on there. I'm not sure. So, you know, if you have that service, maybe check it out. Yeah, awesome. Okay, now let's get to the stitching, because that's what you're here for, right? I only have one whip to show. I know, crazy, huh? That's because I finished a lot of things this month. Because a lot of my stitch alongs are wrapping up the end of the year, and so I was trying to like finish those up because I've got some big projects that I'm planning on doing next year. The Keyblades to the Kingdom is one of them. It's a big project, and my one whip I'm going to show you is a Hade, or Heaven and Earth design. You know, those are pretty big. And I'm also doing the Pixel Prime Sal for 2022. It's his, it's doing it sort of like a shopping mall with little video game characters, and they buy stuff, and it's really cute. But that one is also large. So I'm trying to not pick up a million Sals like I did last year, because I have enough large ongoing projects that I'm going to be starting. But my one is the one I was just talking about. It's the Possibilities Evolution Rainbow Max Color, and is the mini version, because there is a supersized version, but that is just way too big for me. I know my limits. I think it's like 600 stitches by 999 stitches, and I'm just like, no. This one is much more manageable. It's like 200 something by 300 something, which is still big, but definitely much more manageable. So I'll put a picture up here of what the finished pattern looked like, because I do not have a lot done on it. And as I said, this is the Heaven and Earth Designs, and it's based on art by Walking Melons, and I stitched it on an 18 count pre-gridded Aida with DMC. So as you can see, there's not a lot of progress. I've started, this is the upper corner here, and it's mostly like a bunch of black and some dark green. I just started this yesterday, so I don't think this is too bad for like a day and some this morning working on it. And I'm really appreciating the gridded fabric, because otherwise it would be so hard to keep track of where I am. And then this way I can do bigger blocks of color, and yeah, it's really, I highly recommend it. But yeah, it's a start. Originally, when I was thinking about doing this project, I wanted to finish a page a month, because there's 12 pages. I was like, if I finish a page a month, then I can have it done in a year. And now I'm like, that would be nice, but it's pretty unlikely with the other like large projects I'm planning on starting this month. Not to mention I've got designs, and I want to try to stitch some of those, and so I'm gonna be busy. I'm gonna work on it, but it's probably not gonna be done as fast as I was originally hoping, until I got all these bright ideas. So, oh, before we get into the finishes, I want to show off an older finish that I don't think I've showed off on this channel, because Betty White passed away, as you probably know, on New Year's Eve, and that was really sad because she was something. She was great. I haven't seen anybody yet that's just like, oh, I don't like Betty White. It's like, oh, what's wrong with you? But I did this one a while back. It's from a Season of the Stitch kit, and it's got the Golden Girls on there. It says, thank you for being a friend. And it's just really, really cute. I had fun with it. I gotta finish it so I can hang it up, but I was like, I should show this one off again, because also I have a Flosstuber friend. She was planning to do a stitch along before all this happened for Betty White's, what was going to be her 100th birthday next month on the 17th. Unfortunately, she was not going to make it to that, but she's still going to do the Sal. It's going to be a memorial Sal. I can't remember the hashtag off the top of my head. I will put that down here, the hashtag that she's going to be using. And she's doing the pattern Walk Fast by Lindy Stitches, which is a quote from Rose Nylund. But you don't have to do that pattern. If that's like, I'm doing a different pattern. I haven't started it yet, but you should see it on my next Flosstube. And so I'm planning on doing that with her. So it's not like a mystery stitch along some of the other ones. It's just you either do the pattern that she's doing, or you can do another Betty White pattern. Doesn't necessarily have to be Golden Girls. One of my groups put out one from Lake Placid. That's a fun one. So I'll put that hashtag down here if you just want to follow it, or if you want to stitch along. She's starting on the 17th. I'm sure if you wanted to start a little bit earlier, it's not a big deal. So take a look at that on Instagram, because it's sad. It's almost so close to 100. Sometimes things just don't work out. Okay, on a more up note, let me grab all these finishes, because I've got a bunch. I got a bunch to show you. Oh, I'm so excited about this. Oh, come here, you guys. This is a lot. There's a lot here. There's a lot going on. So I didn't finish all of my stitch alongs from last year. I've got one more. I didn't get to work on the Cozy Cafe, and I haven't caught up on the Witchy Stitcher one. But that aside, but before we get to those, I'm going to show you one of a couple of my smaller finishes. This is from Season of the Stitch. It's on a 14 count white Aida, just DMC floss. I haven't had a chance to fully finish it yet, but so as you can tell, it's Santa. But what you may not quite get what's going on here, which is understandable. So this font is from The Lost Boys, and in that movie, a vampire movie from the 80s, if you haven't seen it, there's a guy on stage, kind of shirtless and oiled up. It's the 80s, and he's playing a saxophone. So it's kind of like mashing up that, and it says, I still believe, because that was the song he was playing in there too. So it's just kind of like this weird mashup between Santa and the Lost Boys, and I thought that was funny. I love weird stuff. I can't help it. I just can't. Okay, so this is one I was wanting to show off. So the Keyblades to the Kingdom one, I put out a little sort of like preview pattern, and this is one of the Keyblades that will be in the pattern. This is one of the like little mini ones. This is the Kingdom Keyblade. And my boyfriend test stitched it for me. Didn't take very long. I think like an evening or two. It goes really fast. But this is available free on my Ko-Fi page. So if you just want to stitch this little guy, go and download that. I, of course, will have a link to my Ko-Fi page down there. And then I did one of my Chrono Cross patterns. Yeah. So this is Serge. I don't know. We didn't have voice acting back then. You just read it, and you probably read the name wrong. But this is his character portrait from the game. And I made the pattern. And this is also available on my Ko-Fi page for free. And I love it. For so long, I'd always had in the back of my mind that I wanted to stitch these, but I was like, oh, that's going to be so hard to do, and I don't know how. But now that I've got the software and the knowledge and stuff, I was like, oh, I can finally do this. So now I'm going to do it. It's going to take me forever. There are 45 playable characters in this game, and it's like, I'll do one a month, and I'll be done. And what is that, like 3 or 4 years? Oh well, it'll keep me busy. Yeah, but I think he turned out so great. I wanted to get one done and test stitched because I wanted to make sure that the colors were going to come out right, and I think it looks really good. It looks very much like the sprite in the game, the little portrait. So cute. I love it. I'm so excited about that one. And this is just, I think this is like a natural Ada, a 16 count. I don't know. I just kind of grabbed it out of my stash of stuff, but I love it. Okay, enough of the shameless self-promotion. Let's move on. So I've got one of my Christmas style. So I showed off 2 Christmas stitch-alongs in my last video. And I don't really want to get too much into it, but the one that I had where it was going to have the Christmas lights around it and have lettering, there was a bunch of drama around that. There was a lot of issues, and the creators started booting people from the group and so that one is just completely scrapped, so you won't see that one again, unfortunately. Just sometimes stuff happens, and I don't really want to get into it because it's just not worth contributing to the drama. Just like, fine, I'm not going to mention you. Your name is not going to come out of my mouth because I don't even want to think about you anymore. But the other Christmas one I finished. So this is the Christmas Classic Stitch Along from Story Stitches, and it is just the cutest. I love it. You get the Grinch and Max and Santa and Charlie Brown and Rudolph, and it's so great. And that's a fabulous group. If you're interested in this, you should look it up because lots of other people did other characters from these specials and did their own custom stuff, and people really got into it. It was great. It was so much fun to watch. This is on a 32 count sky blue linen with the called for DMC floss, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet because it is a little small. I don't know if I'm going to make it into a wall hanging or what. I mean, the holidays are over, so I wouldn't be displaying it right now anyway, so I've got some time to figure that out. But I love how it turned out. All right, another one that I've been working on, this one I've been working on for quite some time, is the Animal Crossing Stitch Along. So great. So we have the November section, which is Daisy May. She sells the turnips in town. And then down here we have KK Slider, who's the fabulous, famous musician that plays when your island gets popular enough. But now it is done. It is so cute. I love it. Just fabulous. This is from Cunning Cross Stitch, and it's free through. He has it on a blog, but there's a Facebook group, so you can find all the files and stuff. But I love how it turned out, and it's really cute. And oh man, though, I'm glad I did it on a linen because those little fractional stitches and that back stitching was, ooh, it's fierce. So that's also on a 32 count sky blue linen with all the DMC floss. Okay, so this next one is also from Cunning Cross Stitch. This is the Magic Kingdom Stitch Along. Oh, I know, it's so fabulous. Look at that. It's so cool. I feel like I want to add something up here, maybe some fireworks or something, but for now it is done. So we had the November section was Aladdin in here, and then December was Rapunzel, Tangled. Tangled, that's the movie. Rapunzel is the character, but oh boy, I kind of regretted the decision to do Ada on this section because there are so many little fractionals and crazy backstitching. Most of this wasn't too bad, but that section was Oh, it was something else, I'll tell you. So this was on a 14 count, I think it's oatmeal or something like that. It has a very slight, like, beigey variegation on it. But that one is done. I'm excited. See, I've been busy finishing this month, so that's why I don't have a lot of whips. I mean, I have other whips, but I didn't work on them, so they don't really count for this month. Okay, one more. So I talked about I'm going to be doing Pixel Prime's Stitch Along for 2022. This is our Stitch Along for 2021. Ta-da! I know, look at that. Isn't that great? So you can see down here at the bottom, we got Mario and Bowser and one of the little like pipes. And that was the December section. So it is all done. It is totally finished. Got my name in up here and the year, and I'm just really stoked about it. I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do with it yet because it is pretty big. it's kind of a large piece of fabric, so I've gotta figure out. I think too big for a pillow. It's probably gonna have to go on the wall. That's why I'm doing the next one on 25 count, because I was like, this is a little bit much. Hard to figure out what to do with something that's that big. But yeah, I had some finishes this month. I was trying. I wanted to finish up the Cozy Cafe. I just did not have time because I was really wanting to get the Chrono Cross one done, and then the past couple weeks I've been spending a lot of time designing the stitch along and standalone patterns. So I will have a Chrono Trigger pattern coming out later this month. It'll probably be around the 15th. So, you know, if you're interested in video game patterns, you should follow me on Ko-Fi, because I'm going to be putting out a lot of stuff. I've been busy this year. I'm busy designing. Also, if you want to be a test stitcher, send me a message on Instagram, or, you know, write a comment here and we can find some way to communicate, because I've got a lot of patterns coming out and I only have so many friends that I can con into doing it. So yeah, if you're interested in any of this sort of like video game patterns or something like that, or even if you'd want to give them to someone else, just send me a message. I'm doing a lot of like older video games, kind of lesser known stuff. But some of the ones I've got a Disgaea pattern that I've made up. I've got this really cute Garfield pattern for Halloween. It's so good. Let's see, I'm going to be working on a Ranma 1/2 pattern. That's an anime. I've already got somebody working on the Chrono Trigger pattern, and then there's another, you know, some other ones. But yeah, just send me a message and we can talk about what you would maybe be interested in stitching. So some of they're all fairly good size, but they're not like, well, there's a couple that are big, but most of them aren't too huge, and they're not full coverage for the most part. There's some that are close to full coverage. I'll admit that. Okay, so plans. So the plans I had for December, I was wanting to catch up on my sals, which I partially did, so that kind of half counts. I did finish my last Christmas card, got that done. I did not make an ornament. It didn't happen. I just no. Let's see. Finish the Story Stitches Sal. Did that. Make a cryptid ornament. No. Do 2 Booville patterns. No. I'm just not even going to put that on the list anymore, because it'll happen or it won't happen. I like the pattern. There's so many things I want to do. Do you understand? See, I get it now. I always wonder, how can people end up with so many whips? Like, how can they have so many things that they're working on? It's just, and now I'm like, I have so many things that I'm working on. My ideas get ahead of my hands. Okay, so what are my plans for January? Ta-da! Okay, so yet again, I'm trying to catch up slash finish Sal. So I want to finish the Cozy Cafe, and I want to at least make some progress on the Cryptid Stitch Along from the Witchy Stitcher. So here's hoping. I need to start the Keyblades to the Kingdom test stitch. That I am definitely going to do. I'm waiting on my fabric to come in. Should be in next week, so I can get started on that. Design more patterns. I've been doing pretty good at that. I still got a few more I want to do for this year, so I'm going to continue trying to work on that. Start the Pixel Prime stitch along for this year. Hopefully I can make a little progress on it. Test stitch the next Chrono Cross portrait. So like the one I showed you earlier, I'm going to be doing another one of those this month. And finish a Season of the Stitch pattern, because I have a lot of those kits. I have a few backlogged, and I have another one coming in this month, so I want to try to get at least one of those done. They usually go pretty quickly, so hopefully I can fit one of those in. So between that and the Chrono Cross portrait, I'll have like 2 little finishes to show you, because these other things I'm not gonna finish anytime soon. So to have any finishes, I'm gonna need to do some little stuff, because I sort of like all the finishes, and now I'm like, ooh, now I got giant things to work on, and I'm, maybe done by the end of the year. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I think that's about it for me today. If you've hung in till the end, and I appreciate that. Drop me a comment if you have any questions about anything today, or if you just want to say hi. I always appreciate the interaction, talking to people, and or follow me on Instagram. I always I'm trying to post on there more regularly. Can be kind of sporadic, but trying to show off and shamelessly promote my patterns. Go download one and make my day. And you can pay for them, but I don't it's not expected. It's great. It makes my day. It's fabulous, awesome for the people who have contributed, but I really just want to share them with people. The Chrono Cross patterns, I don't really expect many people to download them, because I know most people are not as into it as I am, but they're more for me than anything, and I figure I'm going to be making them for myself anyway. I might as well share them with other people. Maybe there's somebody out there that wants to stitch them. Who knows? I think some people might be interested in next month's portrait that I'm stitching, because it is really cute. I'm putting out 5 a month. I only really have the time to stitch one of them. If you would be interested in stitching any of them, please let me know. I will send you the pattern. Even, ahead of time would also be fine and great. If you end up stitching any of my patterns, if you want to send me a picture of it that you're okay with me using in the pattern listing, that would be awesome. If you can't maybe contribute money, that would be a great way to help me out, and I would appreciate it so much. Other than that, I hope you had a good holiday season, or at least the best you can. I know it can be really stressful for people this time of year, and let's go into 2022 and have some fun and do a lot of stitching. Bye.